Hey everyone, so it's 2 weeks on the PKD diet. I probably haven't been super strict with the fat to protein ratio, but I'm kind of eating pork belly, which is probably seems to just look like a pretty good ratio, and sometimes I eat a little bit more because I'm just hungry. But I had a bit of a bad week, 4 days or 5 days, because I decided to change my medication, some antidepressants, because I pretty well reckon that my inflamed gut well, my leaky gut is causing an inflamed brain, and it also comes out symptoms of rashes and stuff on my face. So I thought, I'll try and change it and get a because it saw it had lactose in it, the tablet. But then so I got a dissolvable one without even looking at what it was in it, and then I had it, and then that next couple of days was rough as I kind of didn't think it'd be that bad, but yeah, it had aspartame, it had sugar, it had mannitol, and all this kind of stuff in it. That obviously got into my bloodstream, and I'm pretty certain it made me have some sleepless nights, lots of anxiety, depression, and headaches. Because obviously my brain's inflamed from that stuff getting through my gut. Because if you look at stuff as you got a leaky gut, you got a leaky brain. Anyway, so I'm kind of coming out of that now. Went back to the other medication, washing the stuff off the outside of it, so there's less in there. It has got some lactose in there, tiny little amount apparently. Even though they say that can affect it, but I can't just come off that medication straight away. Um, but other than that, I seem to be improved in that sense. And if you look at Michaela Peterson's stuff, she says once you have a reaction, it can take 24 days to clear. And I certainly know 3 days after anything like that, it is the worst. So I'm on about that was Monday, so about day 5 now. I'm starting to get better. Also, can be a little bit dose dependent, um, but pretty certain that's what's going on. There's a leaky gut, intestinal permeability, and it's causing my brain stuff because it's amazing how it can just switch on and then switch off. Well, not switch off straight away, unluckily, but it comes on. So sticking with what I'm doing, struggling bit is to, well, you're kind of exhausted when that happens, but um, sticking to not doing any exercise is tough because I like to exercise. Well, it's good for my mental health, but when you're that exhausted from a reaction, it's pretty amazing. You just got no energy as well. And plus, like they say, you need the energy to heal your gut. So your intestines, your small intestines especially, are pretty long. They say they cover the size of a tennis court. So I've had probably, I had diagnosed Crohn's for 13, 14 years. My inflammation markers, interestingly, are pretty low. But like I was reading, there's another inflammation marker, I think it's called IL-6 or something, which they can test to see if there's like this other kind of inflammation in your body, which is not a common thing they do. They talk about on the PKD stuff. So that's probably what's going on. And I think I actually saw um, Michaela Peterson actually say the other day, and probably relates to Brett Lloyd as well, in that because they went the high fat diet, it was what healed their depression over time and other stuff because they're healing their leaky gut. They just probably were inadvertently doing that. Um, it's fascinating stuff. And interesting, like Brett Lloyd said, it took 5 months for his insomnia. I think said for it to go. The depression actually interestingly went first, and then the anxiety. I think it was 2 months, and then 3 months for the anxiety to go. And interestingly enough, PKD say it can take some people who've had substantial Crohn's for a while can take up to 18 months for that to heal, and that's similar into a few of the books that I've read, Fat of the Land, and Don't Eat Bread, I think it's called, or something. Read, and they're all saying it takes a while for that gut to heal because it's the size of a tennis court. That's where everything's absorbed. So and that can take a while to heal, especially if you've got scar tissue. And especially if it's not like you can rest it. It's like you got a broken leg. You can rest your broken leg and let it heal. It's probably quicker than if you kept using it. But you got to keep using it because you need nutrition. So, like I said, if you eat some proteins and foods that your body goes, oh, that's just like us because we're the same. allowed you to do that. So anyway, that's probably my 2 week update. I was feeling better after that first week. It was really good, but then I made that slip up thought the medication change would make a difference, and then went backwards. So it's really about being patient and sticking with it, and then try not to do too much. The other thing, Dr. Chaba Toth said that what happens also is, you know, you have some milk, for example, which is not part of our diet, and as a child, and human milk, not cow's milk. The dendritic cells in your body, you know, first they react to it and they go, okay, I've seen it, and then you keep drinking, and eventually your body sits in that low state inflammation. I think there's a lot of people in the world walking around that low level inflammation all the time, not realizing what's going on. And eventually you do enough damage, and those cells basically become super sensitive. And then I've thought about this before, and that they go, guess what? You're not doing this again, and we're going to make sure you don't do this again. So sometimes your body is really intelligent in that. It reminds you pretty quickly not to do it. It's like this punishment for doing something wrong. It is interesting though, because I follow Joe Dispenza, and some people, you know, have all these food reactions and intolerances, and they, I guess, epigenetically are able to reset that. But I've heard a few people then also say in those that they then don't even go back to eating those things, even though they can, because again, if you keep doing the wrong thing, it'll come back eventually. You know, what is our natural human diet? It's like, you know, you don't go and feed a dung beetle something that a dung beetle doesn't eat. A dung beetle equals dung. You know, you wouldn't go feed bread to a whale because it eats plankton. And you even see signs that the ponds and stuff now don't feed the ducks and the turtles bread because it's not their diet and they're getting sick. Now, I used to work in a vet clinic too, and interestingly enough, you know, if you look at what they say, our guts are very similar to that of dogs. And interestingly enough, why do we have so many dogs? Because dogs evolved to live with us. They helped us hunt. We shared the feed with them. You know, the Inuit live with dogs. They feed their dogs a very similar diet to them. But working in the vet industry, I saw a lot of dogs, guess what, getting similar human diseases like Crohn's disease. And this is years ago, this is one of my little aha moments when one of the vets who I knew I had Crohn's. He said, we treat a lot of our dogs on a diet. They put on a specific diet. And I had a look at the packages, and yeah, they took a lot of the shit out of it. They basically fed them a high fat protein diet in the biscuits. And maybe they just fed them fresh meat with that, it'd work good. And I've even seen it in my dog. I give her biscuits, she doesn't, and low quality ones, she's sluggy, she doesn't feel as good. You can see she's got no energy. I feed her on bones, which are high marrow. She's got so much energy, and this dog's 9, and I've done it most of her life. Occasionally I get lazy and give her biscuits, but most people go, your dog looks really young. I went, it's because of what I feed her, and I don't overfeed her as well. You know, you look at a dog in the wild, it wouldn't eat every day. It might scavenge a little bit, but they don't make a kill every day. And that's why they sleep a lot. They eat something, they eat a lot, they gorge, and then they sit around at night and wait for the next kill. So humans probably were a bit the same. We scavenged and we would gorge and wait until the next meal, until we formed tribes and were able to hunt more. Whereas while we hunted out the megafauna. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. There's a lot to discuss there. There's a lot of information. I'll probably expand on some of that one day. But thanks for listening. Cheers. Bye.